Welcome to your Magnetic Purpose podcast, where human design meets astrology and tarot. I'm your host, Ashley Hood. Get ready to explore, evolve, and embrace your fullest potential. Welcome to a journey of self-discovery like no other. Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you're having a wonderful week. So with human design, where I really got sucked in was when I started to learn about how it makes you unique. I was like, I want to know what makes me unique, and I want to know what makes my husband and my daughter unique. So it totally was what kind of captivated me and what the hook was for me. So today I wanted to go over just some key areas in your chart where you can start exploring what makes you uniquely you. And there's some fun little areas to take a look at to start your deep dive into. And then we can expand upon this in other episodes. But today I just wanted to touch on where some of the key places are to start looking. So you're going to want to look at gates, channels, and where your Uranus placement is. So let's kick it off with gates. So gates in human design they're your little unique traits that you have and gifts that you have. They are things that are specific to you, and they are things that you can work with and you're gifted in this life to be able to express, to share, to do. And the gates are really different from one another actually because they tell a story about communication, connection, how you love somebody, how you express yourself, how you show up in the world. But you can't take a gate just at face value. This is why it's actually really important to go and book a professional reading, because you can have a gate and you can go and you can read about what the gate actually entails. But if you don't get a professional reading, you're only sitting at a surface level understanding of that gate. It's just like a generic explanation of that gate. Your gates are flavored by, obviously, the type of energy that you carry, whether you're a manifestor, generator, projector, etc., etc. And it also is flavored by the decimal and the number that comes after it. That is actually how you express that gate. So again, really important to get a reading so that you can go really deep into your special gates and your traits and your talents and everything that you're meant to express in this life, and really understand how you can hone it for yourself and make it work for you. But the gates are a good starting place to find out your uniqueness and how to leverage that. Say you had gate 1. This is the creative, the gate of self-expression. This is all about just oozing authenticity and creating for the sake of creating. This is the gate of the artist, of the creative, of the, just the wildly ambitious, and they don't care about what people think about what they put out there in the world. They're just putting out into the world what makes them happy as an expression and an extension of who they are. What really sets apart someone who has gate 1 in their chart would be their originality. Or say you have gate 8. The gate of contribution. This is all about physically and literally and communicatively communicating to the world your contributions, what you have to give, what you have to share. It's all about being so unapologetically yourself and just sharing that with the rest of the world. That makes you really unique when you are not worried about outside influences and you are just sharing who you are and what you came to contribute to the collective. Say you have gate 5 in your chart. Gate 5 is all about rhythm. It's all about fixed rhythms and patterns. And this is somebody who really expresses themselves through almost a ritualistic type of feeling. They are very honed into the different patterns that they have to do throughout their day to share a sense of safety within themselves and community. So they might be someone who wakes up at the same time every single day, works out at the same time every single day, someone who shares something the same way every single time. These patterns are really what sets them apart, because when they start to live out their patterns, they really embody the energy and the gifts of gate 5, and it becomes so apparent to people around them and themselves. These patterns and these expressions that they use to put out into the world. So again, going into your gates is really important because it really is your traits that you're here to express, that you are here to share with others. It is your special talents. So if you're ever wondering what makes you unique and how you can kind of start to leverage that, just look at your gates because it will tell you everything that you need to know about your talent. And then the next place you're going to want to look at is your channels. So a channel is created when there's two defined gates that are sitting side by side or across from each other. This connects the two gates, and then it also connects the two channels, the two centers that it's sitting in. When you have a channel, this is a consistent energy flow, and it is almost like your essence. It is your je ne sais quoi. It is what you put out into the world constantly, and your like vibe of energy. Now, of course, if you're a reflector, you're not going to have any channels, but if you come into contact with somebody who connects your electromagnetic field and makes a channel for you with two different gates now being defined, you then get to sample that energy of that channel while you're with that person. So say you have the channel 10 to 20. This is the channel of recognition. This is all about being in the now and expressing yourself authentically in the moment. These people are so unapologetically themselves because everything that they're sharing with the world comes to them at that moment, and they are meant to express their feelings, their ideas, their gifts, their talents the minute that something strikes a nerve in them or a chord, or if someone asks them a question. What sets them apart is their brutal authenticity, like in a good way, like they're relentless about their authenticity. They can't help but just share exactly who they are with the world. Or say you have the channel of flow. This is where gate 5 and 15 connect. And gate 5 again is all about like the rituals and the patterns. And then gate 15 is all about extremes. And it is like the extreme highs and lows of the human experience, but also really honoring other people's highs and lows. This means that you are someone who can hang out with like anyone who is maybe like a garbage man or like a janitor, or someone who maybe is a little bit down on their luck. Or you can hang out with someone who's like the most affluent, wealthy celebrity, like those two really like big extremes, and that you will always carry yourself in the same energy and the same rhythm and flow, no matter who you're interacting with. Your gift with this channel is that you can really accept and care for and understand all of the extremes that there are in humanity. This is also the channel of the wild woman. So this is all about like marching to the beat of your own drum and not letting anyone or anything stop you in your authenticity, in your uniqueness, in who you are, because you understand the different flows of life and you are so comfortable in just surrendering to the flow of your own life. It actually makes you wildly magnetic because when you're in such a state of this like genuine flow, you really do draw in a lot of opportunities to yourself. So channels are a really good way to understand like your je ne sais quoi, like I was saying earlier, or just your essence, like embody your channels, because your channels are so innate in you that even if you don't fully understand it yet, or maybe it is a channel that's in your design side, it is what the world perceives you to be, and it is the vibe that the world gets from you. So understanding your channels is actually really important because it helps you to be aware and connect with the energy that you put out there. And then the last place that you can look if you want to know kind of what makes you unique is your Uranus placement in your chart. So Uranus is all about like the rebel. It's all about breaking traditions. It's all about just not giving an F. You know what I mean? It's like, it's here to be weird. It's here to let its freak flag fly. It is here to shake up the norm and not be so complacent in like society norms. So figuring out where your Uranus placement is in your chart will show you kind of where you're supposed to be weird, where you're supposed to shake things up, where you're meant to really like live out loud and not give two hoots about what anyone thinks about you or the way that you present yourself. It's kind of what makes you weird, but it's also what makes you wildly unique because it is so tailored to you that it is just such a fun place to look. So if you ever sometimes think that maybe you're boring or you're stuck or you're stalled or you're just really blocked in life, go and check out where your Uranus placement is, and then you can really understand where you're supposed to break free and shake things up and be a little bit of a rebel in that area of your chart. So now let's talk about how you can leverage this and use it in your practical day-to-day. So the first thing you're really going to want to do is start to reflect on the gates that you have defined in your chart. This is a really great way to have a lot of self-awareness and to begin to understand what makes you you. Really, because this is the personality and the design of you. So it really does help to make you understand where your purpose is, how you're meant to love, how you're meant to express, how you're meant to share your talents and your gifts with people around you, and also how you feel in your own skin when no one else is around. So taking time to really reflect on your defined gates is going to be a really great key for self-love and just to understand yourself a little bit more. And then with your channels, taking time to really lean in to that energy of your channel, knowing that that is a consistent theme and is a consistent draw of energy from you, really beginning to understand what that channel means and experimenting with it to see how you can stay in rhythm and flow with it. And then with your Uranus opposition, you're just going to want to go there just to have a little bit of fun. Just like go there and find out what makes you weird. Because when you find out what makes you weird, it is such a beautiful place to live because you don't even care about what people think because this is your own unique weirdness. You're here to do this. It's where your freak flag is. It's where you're meant to shake up the norm. So if you're here to fight like a worthy cause or protest something or break free from something, really getting to know your Uranus opposition or your Uranus placement is really important to understand where you can make your mark in this world. So all of this all of this combined together is going to help with your uniqueness. But the bigger picture of all of this that I just said is actually really getting to understand your chart. Because when you understand your chart, you start to realize that every single person is like a snowflake. No two people are the same. I am not the same generator as the generator beside me. And this is all because of the different traits that you have in your chart, the different energy hubs that you have, the different channels, the different planetary placements. And then it goes even deeper to base, color, tone. So again, it is so important for you to get a human design reading. And I honestly recommend like multiple readings because there's so many layers to your chart that makes you you. And then on top of it, there's transits going on in the sky. So when the planets are doing something, that is also going to impact your chart because you're going to have transits happening in areas that maybe aren't defined in your chart. But when that transit happens, it now defines that area of your chart. So you can start to kind of harness that energy for a little while and sample it. And maybe this is a really great time if you don't have a defined throat. This is a great time when you have a transit. This is a great time to be able to now work with a defined throat and maybe do a presentation or maybe record something that you really want to put out there, but you're a little bit worried about having that undefined throat and it not sounding consistent. So let's talk about this in like practical terms. So for myself, I am a 1-3 sacral generator. So that means that I am somebody who loves to dive deep into all the things that light me up and that I'm passionate about and that I need to go and apply it practically into the world. I have to be able to get my hands into everything that I learned and try it for myself. This to some people can look like a lot of like missteps and failures, but for me, I learn the best when I am out there making mistakes, and then I can recategorize what not to do and how to do it better and take another deep dive into it. But I'm also a left angle vessel of love for my incarnation cross. So everything that I do is going to be out of love. There's going to be a touch of love to it with everything that I create, that I share, that I talk about. So that's why it is important to understand the full picture of your chart, because you will always be different than the person beside you just because of all the different unique traits that you have and all the different transits that can be going on in your charts as well. So if you really want to know what makes you unique, I do recommend starting with gates, channels, and your Uranus placement to really start to scratch the surface and understand how you can use all of these talents and these gifts and these energy flows and these freak flags to be able to set yourself apart from the person next to you. If you want to book a live reading or even a recorded reading that you can then watch on your own time, head over to Your Magnetic Purpose. I have a bunch of different offerings there. We have really great blog posts, and you can also download your free human design chart so that you can start to understand your different gates and channels. If you have any questions, you can always shoot me a message or you can send me an email. I would love to connect with you, and we can start to dive a little bit deeper into your chart to understand what makes you uniquely you. And until next time, here's to health, wellness, and weirdness. I'm your host, Ashley. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to like, share, and subscribe wherever you stream your podcast. For more resources and tools to explore human design, tarot, and astrology, head over to yourmagneticpurpose.com and book a live one-on-one reading or download your free chart. Remember, the more that you align with your purpose, the more opportunities you attract.